All right, we are rolling here with Off Trail with Luke and Chandler. I'm Luke,
I'm Chandler.
and we are off trail.
Mm-hmm.
So today, Chandler, we're going to talk about something that is maybe, at least our opinions of, are a little controversial.
Probably.
We're going to talk about feature pages on Instagram, and there's a ton out there, and to be fair, we kind of do a little bit of this ourselves with Bushwhackers. But there's a ton of feature pages out there that, you post photos, you tag them in, use their hashtag, what have you. They will offer to potentially feature your photo on their page.
Yes.
And a lot of these pages have thousands of followers, hundreds of thousands depending on the page. And when you're first starting out, you see these, you're like, oh, I'm getting on these pages.
Yeah.
Like, it's a big deal.
It's like a rite of passage.
Yeah. And then, like, you get featured, you're like, oh, I did it.
Yeah. You're
Like,
I'm there.
And you feel really cool and really good about yourself. And then, for whatever reason, maybe it's like people like you and me, we've gotten to the point where we quite literally stop trying to be on their pages.
Yeah, we stopped tagging them.
Stop tagging them, stop using their hashtags.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know, we just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And there's a couple reasons for that. We'll dive into it. And to be fair, there's still a couple that we do, but it's more like the ones that, we kind of have a personal connection with.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we have some friends who like Sky Bangers is
Yeah.
maybe the best example of this. With Larry over there, like I'm not gonna say like we're amazing friends because
Yeah.
we don't, not like we chat all the time. We haven't hung out with him or anything, but like, there's just a good connection between all of us. And so we'll keep pumping you guys up.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. But other ones, it's like, just doesn't matter. Like a lot of, say, like for us, the Utah pages, like we've just stopped tagging those and we don't care if they show our stuff.
Yeah.
And, maybe let's dig into why.
Yeah.
The first thing that comes up to mind is that, at least me personally, when you're starting out, you're trying to get on these pages for exposure, grow your following, all that stuff. Is that honestly, those pages just never, it never did much for mine.
No,
Like-
they never really did much for mine either. I never really saw, any time that I ever, did get on one of those pages, it was like, I don't know, maybe I would get, a follower or a couple extra likes or something like that. But, I mean, realistically, it doesn't really matter. And it just wasn't really worth it. It's like, I don't like that. I feel like it's just way overvalued
Yeah.
than it really should be.
Yeah. Well, and to some degree, again, this is not saying for every feature page, but for a lot of the ones that we try to get on, it's like almost like you're begging for the attention.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, please feature me. It's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I'm above that.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to feature my stuff, feature my stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go asking around for it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, like you said, like I never saw results coming back my way of my page growing insanely fast. And it's like, ultimately, for a lot of people out there, that's the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like, whether you want to realize it or not, like, it's just not going to result in your page having the kind of growth that you think it will.
Yeah.
And because like I still see some of those pages. Like we've unfollowed a lot of those because we just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
But like when I was following them, I'd see other people's photos. Say like if you got featured or something, or people that I didn't know. I never went to their page to follow them. I just liked the post and move on.
Yeah, and it was some stunning photo, like something I'd never seen before.
Right.
It was worth that really caught my eye. I never really stopped and paid too much attention to them.
Yeah, and it's just, I think you have to realize so many people who say follow that page, it's really just I'm going to take the easy way out, like that photo and move on.
Yeah.
I'm not going to take the extra time to dive into it. It's the path of least resistance for, everyone who's viewing that stuff.
Yeah.
They're not going to go either way.
And honestly, I mean, I kind of have a little bit of a problem with some feature pages too, because I've noticed that a lot of them, and again, not all of them, like Skybangers is a good example of this, but there are a few of them who it almost feels like the easy way for them to be able to get big on Instagram. I've noticed a lot of these accounts, they'll get really big and then they'll start thanking everybody. thank you for making this happen for me. Thank you for. It's like nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
Nobody knows you. You haven't actually contributed anything to the art community. All you've done is take other people's photos, share them on your page, and then when the attention comes to your page, you almost take all the credit. I mean, obviously they're not taking all the credit because they're tagging, but that's what it feels like.
Well, and like they try to end up turning that into like a brand.
Yes.
They have merch, and it's like,
what incentive do I have to buy merch?
yeah, like
So
I,
from a company or a brand that contributes almost nothing.
yeah.
So
You know, and some people like turn into like their personal pages after that. It's like, what? Like,
yeah,
like you said, like they're just using it for themselves to get big, and it's like, okay, well, if that's the case, I'm done.
yeah,
You know, I don't care anymore.
yeah,
Like that's where like with Bushwhackers at least, like we made from the very beginning, we made like a pact. We're like feature stuff, whatever we do, whether it's, I mean, our Friday feature is a little different. We'll talk about that, but
yeah,
like if we're just featuring a single photo randomly throughout the week or something, we will never use ours.
yeah. No, never for us.
We
Yeah,
will never use ours.
Yep.
Because it's not for us.
yeah.
A feature page is meant for other people.
It's not, and it's not even just like for our close buddies either. Like we try to because we,
Yeah.
you know, we used to do like the hashtag feature, hashtag Real Bushwhackers, and whenever there was somebody who was like new using the hashtag, we almost used it as a way to like reach out to other people,
Absolutely.
to new people. Like we would find people who were using the hashtag who we hadn't been involved with, and we would feature their stuff.
Stephen Shawzy, great
Stephen
example.
yeah, great
Like,
example.
We found his stuff, and he's a great photographer.
Yeah,
And we found his stuff because he's using the hashtag, and he lived up in Washington
Yeah.
at the time. You know, we had no idea who this was.
yeah. Never
and we're
heard
like,
of him, met him.
dang, this dude's really good.
Yeah,
And we have no idea how he found our hashtag, our page.
yeah,
But it's just like, wow, like he's using it. We need to try and connect with this guy.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
sure enough, he's on a little road trip moving out east, and we're like, hey, you should stop in Salt Lake. And so we got to meet him for a day, which is awesome.
yeah. Exactly.
You know? But yeah, like we use it as a way to like find new people, make new connections with everyone.
Yeah.
And not just use it for ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way it should be. You know, it's a feature page is meant to like build a community.
Yeah.
And not just, you know, pump up yourself or pump up your close friends.
Yeah,
And like,
and a real community, not.
yeah.
I mean, because realistically, you know, we've both been doing this Instagram thing, this social media thing for a while.
For too long.
Yeah, maybe too long. And every time I see some kind of a community pop up, and if it doesn't have that in-person element, it fizzles really fast.
Yeah. It's
You
just
know?
like, what incentive do you have to care about the page if like ultimately there's nothing else that's really pushing it? And
Yeah.
that's where we focus so much on trying to actually get out with people. And I understand, obviously, like to some degree, like, you know, let's say, I mean, Shawzy's now out in Massachusetts. Like,
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can't hang out with him.
Yeah.
You know, and if you feature someone's work from far away, like, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like for a lot of the people, you can still try if
Yeah.
they're close enough. That's why we do what we do. Not only with just like whatever random features we do with people, but with our Friday features. You know, like we have decided that with our Friday feature element that goes on our website, it's a monthly thing. At least for right now, we're only going to do Utah photographers.
Yeah.
And it's like we are really trying to make some inroads with people who live here.
Yeah.
That we can go hang out with.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's important to us.
And you know, there's the point too where we're Utah based, you know,
Yeah.
and a lot of the people that we know and a lot of the people that we interact with are Utah based. There's
Yeah.
a ton of photographers here.
Yeah, I mean that's just a natural consequence of living here and getting to know more people in the area.
Yeah.
You know, but we have obviously friends elsewhere, but like some of our best friends live out of state.
Yeah.
And guess what? We're not using them for our Friday features.
Yeah. Nope.
Even though we think they're amazing photographers,
Yep.
they're not going to be selected
Yep.
because right now, at least, we're going to just use Utah people.
Yeah, exactly. That's just kind of, I mean, that's, I don't want to say we owe it to, you know, people, but like, you know, like I said, we're Utah based, and I feel like if we're going to build a strong in-person community, we should start with making those features be for Utah photographers.
Yeah.
So,
You know, and like we've been talking about, it's like a great way to just build a community. We've met so many amazing people, especially here in Utah, that, you know, we've gotten to actually hang out with and get to know.
yeah.
And you don't get that unless you are very active and engaging in a way like this.
Yeah.
But you have to really put in the work. You can't just take the easy road out and just use everyone's greatest photos.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I think I want to say it was Tristan Sadler who had mentioned this. because I asked him, like, what things maybe should we talk about in the podcast? And again, I think it was him. There's a comment made that, like, a lot of these feature pages, he mentioned it in terms of gatekeeping, but it's the same kind of thing. A lot of these big feature pages, like, a lot of times they only want to share, like, the big account stuff.
Yeah.
If you share, like, say you got like 12,000 followers or whatever, it's like, and a page like a feature page, and this could be anyone, they have more incentive to share someone like your stuff because that would bring more people to their page.
Yes.
Because customs are like, someone shares it, you reshare back and just say thank you and all that stuff, right? So, like, if you do that, compared to if I do that, mine's only going to reach, at least on my new page, like, a couple hundred people.
Yeah.
But you have 12,000 followers that it could potentially reach. So a feature page has more incentive to share the big dog stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, then it's just kind of like, a big circle.
Yep.
Like, they don't escape that
Yep.
and look for people like we try to look for. I mean, we've shared people's stuff who have just a couple hundred followers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And guess what? It means so much more to them.
Yeah.
Because the big people, it's like, whatever. Like, they almost don't even notice it.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Because they also don't even need it. Like, they have the following already.
Yeah, exactly.
Half the time, some of these feature pages have less of a following than they do.
Yeah, yeah. I'm in a similar boat to that, but I don't know. I think there's a lot of value that are put in these feature pages that doesn't really belong there. So
Yeah, and it's just like, if you're a beginning photographer out there, or if you're, again, in our positions, like, just reconsider trying so hard for it.
Yeah.
Because I know me personally, I used to tag all of the Utah pages in basically every post I would make. If it
Same.
was in Utah.
Yeah.
My photos from Utah, obviously. But, like, just nothing comes of it.
Yeah.
And again, it just seems like it's desperate in a way, begging for the attention. It's like you should find your own value in your work regardless of how many people end up seeing it, liking it, commenting, anything like that. Like, you should be trying to push out work that you're proud of.
Yes.
And not look for that external validation from people.
Yep, exactly. And I did this a lot, when I first got into it. I think maybe both of us did, but there is something cool about it. Maybe I'm a little bit of a devil's advocate here, but there is something cool when you're first starting out about, you're taking all these photos and you're putting a lot of work into your craft and stuff, and some page comes along and they're like, hey, we want to feature your stuff, and you're like, oh, I'm being noticed, But realistically, well, I guess maybe I'm going to take a couple steps back here. I just lost my train of thought.
That sucks. but I mean, it's just like,
I had a good point. Dang it.
Ah,
I
man.
can't remember what it was.
Well, maybe you can think of it. But yeah, it's like, you start out and you're like, oh, this is going to be great. Like, people are like sharing my stuff. But again, like, from personal experience, nothing comes of it.
Yeah, yeah. That's okay. Maybe I'm back on my train. Back on the train.
Got him on the train.
Yep, we're back off trail. I don't know. I put a lot of value when I first started into, how many people were seeing my stuff, how many people were liking it, and everything. And I was like, that means I'm a good photographer. And I think a lot of people put a lot of value into people who have lots of followers and get lots of likes and think that they're great photographers. When realistically, technically speaking, they're not. They're pretty mediocre, at least from what I've seen. And there's almost like the standard that a lot of these feature pages set is like a little bit lower than maybe it should be. So
yeah, without naming names,
Yeah.
There's a couple pages that come to mind where it's like, we started to see photos they were sharing. It's like, you're sharing that?
Yeah.
Like, of all things that you could share.
Yeah.
I mean, I could think of 10 other people who have better photos of that place.
Yeah.
And you're picking that one.
And they have so much less of a following. It's just because of the following.
Yeah,
So-
and it's just like, at some point you just kind of get disillusioned by it all.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I think once you get to the point where you're starting out, so you're looking for some validation. I think once you get to the point where you can validate your own work and you can take pride in your own work, I think at that point, other people's validation and the validation that comes from, these feature pages, the temporary validation, it's Instagram. So it lasts for like 12 hours, 24 hours, and then it goes away. But once you can get over that, you'll have so much more fun in photography and in trying to get better and do other things than you would if you're chasing that validation the entire time.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what too. I think the better way to chase, because we all want validation.
Mm-hmm.
It feels good, and it's not saying you shouldn't try to get some of that because it helps you get better.
Mm-hmm.
But it's trying to find validation from maybe proper sources.
Yeah.
Like a feature page is a nameless, faceless group, organization, whatever, that is sharing your photo. But like, who really knows?
Yeah.
Who that is? Like, why does it matter if they like your stuff?
Yeah.
Like, and I think the best example of this, right, is like, say with you and me, and obviously, like, I think you're an amazing photographer. Like, you're better than half the people we end up going out and shoot with, if not darn near all of them. But when I show you a photo, and you're like, oh, I'm like, that feels good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? It's finding the validation from the right people.
Exactly.
And that's why I think it's much more important to try and find groups of people that you can hang out with, belong to. That's why we do what we do with Bushwhackers.
Yeah.
Where like suddenly like you have a ton of friends who can really judge your work.
Yeah.
Like, personally.
Yeah.
And I'd say what like a comment from you about my photo means so much more than a comment from darn near anyone else.
Yeah.
It's like if I know I blew your mind with something, it's like I did good.
Yeah.
Right? I don't need 1,000 people on Instagram telling me, "Oh, that's fire." Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is a banger."
This is yeah.
Like
this is some heat.
it's just meaningless.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like with all the comments that people put on photos, like it's just meaningless comments.
Yeah.
We all play this stupid game where we
Yeah.
try to pump each other up. And again, I'm happy to support people.
Yeah.
But it's like,
I'm happy to support people, but I hope people know that when I'm supporting people and I'm commenting on things, I'm not doing it with the expectation. Gosh, I'm tired. Apparently,
Words, man.
Yeah, the expectation that you comment back on my stuff and you come back and give
No.
that back to me. It's not transactional.
No.
I genuinely just like telling people that they have cool photos, and I hope that that's what people would do to me without having the expectation that, I'm going because they commented, "Oh, I should go pump this guy up." It's like, well, if I see your stuff and I like it, yeah, I will. I absolutely will.
yeah.
But just because, you're telling me that I have a banger just doesn't mean anything.
No.
So,
Yeah, you got to find the validation from the right places.
yes, exactly.
With the right people.
Yep.
Like say you and me. Like I would imagine that both of our opinions about our photos like mean more than a lot of other people's.
Yes. Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
And it's because we're closer friends.
Yeah.
Than a lot of other people we get to meet. But like, there's a lot of other people out there. Like I know that if I say something to one of our other friends, like that's gonna mean more to them than a random feature page just sharing their work.
Yeah.
Like that's where you should look for validation, not feature pages.
Yes.
Just the way it is.
Yep, exactly.
But that's why we have given up on that.
Yeah.
And then some like skybangers. Like that's one where it's like it's always just felt good. Like Larry's awesome, and we're happy to keep pushing that up. And not that they share our work all the time,
Yeah.
but it's just like we're happy to support that.
Yeah. Yeah.
What he does.
And I understand seeing feature pages from the standpoint of not a photographer, because that's ultimately what the pages are made for.
Yeah.
And then it's a spot where people can see a lot of cool stuff. That's why I follow Moods in Frame, for example.
Yeah.
It's because I just like the photos that they share on there.
Yeah.
But I'm not ever reaching please share my stuff.
Yeah.
And
it's just I'm not waiting for them, not hoping for it. Like I don't care if Larry ever puts my stuff on Skybangers.
Yeah.
Like doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
It's just like that's a place where it's like, yep, they're good people.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to go along with them.
Yep. Exactly.
So, find validation in the right places.
Yes.
That's the
takeaway.
moral of today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we'll leave everyone on that.
Yeah, I like that.
If you're listening to this, you can find us on all major podcasting platforms, Bushwhackers Podcast. Please go give us a follow, subscribe to our channel there. You can also find this on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, so all of our new stuff, gets sent directly to you, and you know exactly when it comes out. And obviously, please leave a like and leave a comment. If
Yeah.
you have experience with feature pages, like what do you think about them?
Yeah.
Do
you love them?
Yeah. And if you want to beg for us to share your photo, beg for us to share your photo.
Beg.
Just kidding. Don't do that.
Yeah.
We don't want you to do that.
Yeah, but we do want to hear your opinions though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So, all right, we'll leave you guys on that. Peace out.
bye.